Hi friends, welcome to Programming Made Easy. This is Santosh Avalamurthy. Today we are going to start a new series on Python. Based on the popular demand and many requests I have received, so I'm starting Python series from today, starting from the basics to the advanced levels. I know many of the universities, many of the colleges where there is a computer science and information technology or even MCA, Python is also one of the subject. So I thought of starting this series so that it helps a lot of students also. So if you are not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe to the channel to get the notification on all my videos and also press the bell icon to get the notifications immediately. So let's start. So what is Python? Python is a very popular programming language. It was created by Guido van Rossum and released in 1991. And the most recent stable version of Python as on today is 3.9.6. Now, why Python? So many of the people are having this question. So why we need to learn Python programming language? As per TOP, Python is the third most popular programming language in July 2021, followed by C and Java. So C is still the popular even though it is one of the oldest languages. So Python works on different platforms. So it is platform independent. So that is one of the advantages of Python. So Python runs an interpreter system, meaning that code can be executed as soon as it is written. So if you take the traditional languages like C, C++, or even Java or C Sharp, so we need to compile and generate the binary files before we can run the code. But Python, it's not like that. You can write and run immediately. So I'll be showing you in our first Hello World program how easy it is to write Python program. So what this means is very quickly you can write the POCs. You can do the POCs with the help of Python because you don't need to compile and then build and then execute your program. It is very easy to learn. Even the school going kids can learn Python because it doesn't need any fancy IDE or it doesn't need to know a lot of things before start programming. So we will be learning during the course how easy it is to learn Python. It's a open source and has a community development. That means it is available for free, and because it is supported by a large community, it supports lot of libraries which we can use. As I just mentioned earlier, it is one of the subjects in engineering and MCA, that is Master of Computer Applications. So I'm talking with respect to India here. So that means it is very popular because it is one of the subject and there are a lot of students also who are learning Python today. Now, what are the top real-time applications where Python is used extensively? So Python is extensively used in web development. So Python provides two of its popular frameworks, Django and Flask, to develop to use in the web development. Machine learning and AI. So Python is very popular. It provides a lot of libraries for developing the application that requires machine learning and AI concepts to be implemented. Data science and data visualization. It is also very popular area where Python is used. Natural language processing or NLP. Now, what is natural language processing? If you don't know what is natural language, it is like the way you speak. Okay, so that data is processed and the result is given. For example, let's say take the help of Google. So Google, as and when you type, you get the results and you don't have to use any keyword, specific keyword. You can just write normally, show me the list of top 10 countries in the world, and you get the results, or just type top 10 languages, programming languages, and you get the result, right? So that is the natural language processing. It is a very, very popular area nowadays in desktop UI development. So for the UI development also Python provides framework. So one of the popular framework is Kiwi, where we can develop and desktop UI related applications in very, very fast manner. So game development, specifically on game development for the desktop or even web applications, business applications, etc. Okay. So there are some disadvantages also with Python. So every coin has its own two sides. So the way there are a lot of benefits. So there are also few disadvantages of Python. So one is it is slow speed compared to C or C++ because mainly because it is an interpreter language. So that is why it is slow speed compared to C or C++. So if speed is your top priority, like real-time applications you want to develop, then Python may not be the best solution in that case. So error detection can be done only at runtime. That means as and when you type the program, if you type a variable name wrong, you will not come to know because there is no compilation. So if you are using Visual Studio, right? So if you are using C, C++ or C sharp, right? As and when you type, right? If you type a variable before you declare it, you will immediately come to know. But in Python, it is not like that. So only when you run your application, you will come to know that you have given a wrong variable name. Okay. So that is one of the disadvantage with when we come to Python. Third one, it takes a lot of memory. So if memory is a constraint, for your application, like for example embedded application or even the mobile application where memory is a very costly resource, so it is not advisable to use Python, and Python is not suitable for mobile development. Okay, so if you want to develop mobile application, you have to choose some other programming language, definitely not Python. Now let's see how to install the Python. Now before installing the Python, so first you check if already Python installed in your system. So most of the systems may have Python installed. So how do we check if Python is installed or not? So to do that, what you need to do is go to the command prompt and say Python, type Python. So if Python is installed, so it shows the version of Python, and also you will get a kind of command prompt here. So this shows Python is installed in your system, and also you will come to know what is the version of Python and what is the architecture type, whether it is 32-bit Python or 64-bit Python. Now suppose if Python is not installed, what you need to do is you have to download the setup from the python.org/downloads by choosing your right OS as well as the architecture type. So here is the link where we can download the Python. As I told, the latest version is 3.9.6. Okay, now if you want, you can choose the OS, specific OS related, and then you can go there. If you are downloading for Windows, So you can check, and then you will be able to download the different versions of Python. So note that some of the versions are not supported in some versions of Windows. For example, so if you talk about like 3.9.5 or 3.9.6, they cannot be used on Windows 7 or earlier. Okay, so you have to have Windows 10 if you want to use Python 3.9.5 or 3.9.6. And 3.8, some of the like 3.8 versions cannot be used in Windows XP or earlier. So depending on your current OS, so you need to download the version of Python that suits you. So once you download the setup, all you need to do is follow the steps running the setup. And one important thing you need to take care is you should select add Python to path. Now, what is the benefit of this? So here is the image of this. So here you can see add Python to path. Now, if you don't select this, then you will not be able to run Python from any location of your command prompt. Okay, or even when you want to run the Python script, or you want to call any Python scripts from your programs, you will not be able to do that. So when you say add Python to the path variable, then the respective path variable is added, the path of Python is added, so that you can call Python script from any of the location of your system, right? So this is very important while you are installing. Now, when you install Python, it comes with a default editor called idle. So once you install, you can search for idle, and here it shows you the Python editor. Okay. So this is a default editor which comes with Python. But for all our examples and throughout the series, I'll be using Visual Source Code for all the programming aspects. The reason being, so this Python editor is not so user friendly, and it is quite difficult to do the debugging and other things. There is no autocomplete facility, and other developing the code using this Python editor is bit difficult. So what we will be using is we are going to use the Python Visual Source Code we'll be using for our programming, for our all programs, right? So how do you install Visual Code? So you can install Visual Code by going to this path. So all these paths I will be putting in the description, so you can it will be easy for you to refer to it. So Visual Source Code is a open source editor which is given by Microsoft. Okay, so this is where you can download it. This is the path to download Visual Source Code. So depending on your OS and the architecture type, you can download the version of setup for the Visual Source Code. So once you install, then you can go to the document section to see how to install and getting started. So once you do the setup, there are some introductory videos also for you to use it. Now, one major benefit of Visual Studio Code is that with single editor, you can develop the programs for multiple languages. For example, C++, C Sharp, Java, Python, PHP, Go, etc. All you need to do is once you install the Visual Source Code, you have to download the respective extensions. So now how to you go to the extension? So this is the Visual Source Code. So here if you go to the extension section, you will be able to search and download the required extensions. for any programming language. So I've already installed the extension required for Python. So you can install the Python extension, suppose if you get any error during running the Python program. So once we do that, now we are ready for our journey to this wonderful programming language called Python. Now let us write our first Hello World program. So I'm going to show you different ways of writing the program and also running the program. The first and foremost way to run a program is directly by using the command shell of Python. Okay. Now this is the command shell. Now suppose if you think of C, C++ or C Sharp, Java, anything. So if you want to write Hello World program, so you need to open the editor, any editor, okay, or IDE. Then you have to type the program, save it in a file. You have to compile and then you have to run the binary. That is the step involved. Now in Python, because it's an interpreter language, all I need to do is just say print hello world. So print is a statement or a command to print the text to your console. So all I need to do is print hello world and enter. That's it. No workspace creation, no file creation. You don't have to do anything. You can directly write. Now let's write something useful. I want to find the length of the string. So the length I'm going to print. Print length of hello world. Bracket 14. It's as simple as that. Now you want to write it in a file. We can do that also. So I'm going to use the editor here, Visual Studio Editor. I'm going to create a new file and my programming language is Python, right? So type Python here. Now say print hello world. You can save this. I'm going to put it under Python folder and this is hello world.py, right? So once you save the file and based on the extension, you can see the color code and all will change. Now let us run this. Okay, you can see hello world is printed. Now how do you run it from the command prompt outside the editor? That is quite simple. So go to the location. So this is a very simple trick, easy trick to go to open the command prompt in the location where the file exists directly. So just type command here in your Explorer window. So this opens the command prompt and you can see the path is set to this particular path. Now either you can say Python hello world dot py. Now in command prompt, the easier way to navigate is you can type few letters and press tab button, then automatically it finds all the, it shows the file names starting with this particular letter so that it is easy for you to select. Now Python hello world.py, now it is run. Now you need not even call Python, type is not required. You can simply say hello world.py. Why? Because this extension, for this extension, the Python exe is already mapped. So there is no need to call Python, no need to type Python extensively. You can simply type the script file name so to run the file, right? So let's get back to the PPT. Next, so let us start with few interview questions. Okay, so before the interview questions, so I am going to cover all the syllables of the Python subject which is there in the engineering as well as MCA. And all of us know that what we learn in college is not sufficient for us to get a job. So we need to learn more. So my effort here is not only teach you the subject, but beyond that, so that you are ready once you are out of your college. Not only that, this is going to help you a lot in maybe uh, getting started with your projects. You want to do your projects and also lot of things, and also others who want to learn Python for their own, who are already in the software career or developer career and want to learn Python. So this is the right place for you to learn. Okay, so this is just the beginning. We'll go step by step. We'll start with the basics and then we get into advanced levels. Okay, let's get into interview questions. Now, what is Python? Python is a programming language. It's a very popular programming language. Python runs on an interpreter. Yes or no? The answer is yes. So it runs on an interpreter. Now, what are the advantages of Python? Okay, so just understand these things. So one, it is easy to learn. Second one, it is open source and it is supported by the community. It is a cross platform. That means you develop in using one platform and it runs on the other platform. So Python script will run on Windows systems, it runs on Linux systems, it runs on Unix systems or even Mac OS systems, right? So it runs on all the various systems. Next, it can be developed. The programs can be developed very fast. It takes less lines of code compared to other languages. You just saw print hello world program. It just takes one line to develop the program. Where compared to if you go for C++ or Java or C Sharp, it takes at least 4 to 5 lines of code. And not only that, even when we go down the line with various sessions, you understand what it takes for you to write 10, 20 lines of code in other languages, we can write in 1 or 2 or maximum 3 to 4 lines of code in Python. Since it is supported by community development, there are extensive libraries available in Python. Okay, so which makes a developer life very easy. And also Python is an object oriented program. Now, what are the drawbacks of Python? One is slow speed, mainly because it runs as an interpreter. Second one, it takes more memory, so it is not suitable for the applications where memory is a very costly resource, or you have to develop your applications in a memory constrained environment. Third, errors can be found only during the runtime because its interpreter, it doesn't show any errors while you are writing the program. Fourth one and last one, it is not suitable for mobile app development. Now, just because of these disadvantages, So Python is not anywhere behind. As we saw, it is one of the top three languages, programming languages in the world. So that shows the popularity of Python. So that's all folks for today's section. Today's session, I hope it was very, very informal and it is just the beginning of our wonderful journey to the world of Python. So I hope you like this video. So if you like the video, do like it, do comment it, okay, and install Python and be ready for the future sessions if you have not already installed in your systems. Okay, so do subscribe to my channel if you have not already subscribed, and also share this video to more and more people so that they get benefit out of this brand new series on Python. So thank you so much for thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the session. See you again in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye.